What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with all the news after week number 9 of our Los Angeles Crusaders franchise. And who would have thought coming into this year we would be 8-0 at this point? We adjusted the sliders a little bit last game. We didn't get as many sacks as we had been. There were a whole lot of turnovers in the game, which we didn't even really adjust much at all throughout that previous one. However, that was not a very good team that we played. We are supposed to be winning those games. This next one I am worried about. The Buccaneers are 6-2. Definitely one of the toughest matchups we have had this season, so we're going to have to see how we fare. But overall, being 8-0, man, I definitely did not see this coming again. Last year, our huge issue was the fact that we could not score points, and Keyston Mack has absolutely turned it around for us. I mean, Derek Carr is a much better quarterback than he was last season as well. But yeah, some people have been asking me why I have not been developing Okafor quite as much, and that is because he does not have a good development trait. I don't want to use those points on him. I kind of like what he's giving me right now, but I really want to focus more on putting time into people with good development trait. Now, again, Mosley is only a 3 out of 5. But he's also starting for me right now. Okafor is on the bench, and Beasley, where did Beasley come from? Mosley is still getting above 1,000 points per week when I put those hours into him, usually, or right around there anyway. Should I go with small? Yeah, let's put some time into small. But yeah, another reason why we're winning a whole lot more is our whole team got better. Last year we had a whole lot of rookies playing. We had a lot of second-year players playing. We've put a lot of time into those players, and it's starting to pay off. We kind of made them into the players that we were hoping to get from them. And that's a huge part of why we are doing so much better at this point. Is the fact, not to mention, again, 85 overall rookie Keyston Mack. But a lot of that's just we've been developing players. We knew we were going to be a better team at some point in time. And luckily, it's come a little bit earlier for us than I realized. But right now, we are dominating. We have not had too difficult of a schedule yet. That is one thing to kind of keep note of. We played the Chargers twice, who are a pretty good team. We played the Patriots. But outside that, we might have had another tough game here and there, but it hasn't been a really difficult schedule. So it's going to be really telling is to see how we fare up against another team like the Bucs, who have a pretty good record at this point. Going through, the Broncos are 7-2, so they are still right on our tails. I mean, if we lose this game to the Bucs and lose the game to the Broncos and they keep winning, all of a sudden they have the division lead. So definitely still in the hunt right there. The Chargers 5-3 and the Chiefs 5-3. Our division is doing pretty good overall. Every single team is on pace to finish with above 10 wins. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but it's still pretty cool that that's at least a possibility. We'll check out the weekly awards here, and we might get into scouting a little bit today. Doug Martin, wow, look at that, 191 all-purpose yards. 96 rushing yards, 95 receiving yards. He did not have a rushing touchdown. Pretty interesting. Definitely got it done with probably one huge play in the receiving game. Cole with 3 sacks. Trent Cole. Johnson, 2 interceptions, 13 tackles. And Chaz Jenkins. Didn't he win it last week? Yeah. It's his second time winning AFC Player of the Week. I mean, they replaced Peyton Manning quickly. 323 yards, 5 touchdowns. Definitely somebody to keep an eye on. He did have 2 interceptions, but at that point, man, you're already getting it done. So, moving forward, let's just get into scouting a little bit. We checked out the stats last time. So, let's go ahead and do some scouting. The one thing I will say is, I do not have a whole lot of needs this year. We've been in a position a lot where I've had a whole lot of needs I needed to fill, but over the past 2 off seasons, we've really done a great job at filling our team needs. Now, a player like Gray is somebody I would love to have. Young, 20 years old, prototype style. Perfect for what I'm looking for. But right now, we're sitting at 8-0. We're not going to have a pick around here. So, my best bet is to start looking for players later on. Now, quarterback. Obviously, we are set there. We don't need a quarterback. Running back, we're pretty set. I definitely trust Devin Golden. If we want to go a different route with the backup, that's a possibility, but it's nothing we're going to spend our first-round pick on or a first round or 2 pick on. You know what I mean? Fullback, obviously we are pretty good to go there. Wide receiver, I like what we have. No need to get anybody there. Tight end, potentially a good idea to go with a tight end here. So that's 2 tight ends from Florida here. That's something that we can keep an eye on. I don't know that I'm going to scout them right yet, but tight end is a potential need. Obviously, we put Reese there recently, and he's been doing very, very well. But, you know, that's something we could look into. Definitely doing okay along our offensive line. Our defensive line is getting old. Now, we still have Shelby Harris. He's hurt right now, but we still have him. We have Shelby Harris. We also have Femi Francois, who I really like. I think Femi Francois is great. So we're pretty set there. But, you know, getting depth for once Justin Smith and Justin Tuck retire is definitely going to be very, very important. Again, same thing with defensive tackle. We'll look into all these players as we move forward because we're definitely going to need to find something. The defensive tackle is something I'd like to get a lot. You know what, let's go ahead and start scouting. Somebody asked me to scout Kilgore, so we can do that. B speed for a defensive tackle is pretty unusual. Doesn't have great strength. Has more finesse moves than most defensive tackles are going to, though. Hit power, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he seems like a solid pickup. Doesn't seem dominant. He's more of a pass rusher. Basing in a 3-4. Now, I'm not going to be able to plug him in a defensive tackle in a 3-4 scheme. I said 3-4. I meant he's more of a 4-3. But he's probably not a prototype 3-4. Now, if you can look, most of them are not unless we go way down here. Now, he's a hybrid defense. We might be able to make that work. I don't know, honestly. I don't think so, judging. And even then, I don't think he's going to be available by the time we pick. Don't really need a pass rusher. You know, C.O. Moore has kind of had a down season. His rookie year, he did great for us, but I really haven't heard too much from him lately. So we might need to look into replacing him. Obviously, we're pretty set at middle linebacker. You know, honestly, next up, we need to find a strong safety. So let's start scouting some safeties here. See what we can find. Looks like a lot of them are zone coverage. All right. Play recognition, hit power, B. Catching, B. Okay, this is definitely a player I could work with. Going to still take some development, obviously, but I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here. You know, considering we're going to have a late pick anyway. I mean, he's not projected to go to the late second round. But that's really what we just need to start scouting around here. His man is better than his... Oh, hit power A. The other guy had B catch? Was that right? Yeah. I actually like Mitchell. That's definitely a player we're going to have to look into. Check out Johnny Lowe here. Zone coverage is alright. Awareness, hit power, catching, hit power A. I like to see that. Speed. Not great here. Good hit power. And you know, just in case we can find a good late round steal. Doesn't look like it there. Alright, that's fine. Cornerback. You know, we might make some moves on our cornerback spot, so I wouldn't mind scouting some more, to be honest. Considering, you know, where we're sitting now, Jimmy Smith might not be back with us. I don't know yet. I haven't made a decision. But we can still kind of look around. Catching, You know, I want to save the rest of my scouting points as we move forward. Right now, I'm okay. You know, again, we're sitting pretty well right now with our roster. If you look at our depth chart, we really don't have a whole lot of needs. And, you know, that's part of the reason we're winning so much is we are pretty stacked everywhere. You know, we have a great quarterback. Not great, but we have a quarterback I like right now. And we have a great backup quarterback who has a ton of potential. If you look at running back, again, Devin Golden, obviously, you know, he's leading the NFL in rushing yards right now. We're solid with that. If I want to find a better backup for him, that's a possibility. But these guys are doing okay. Fullback, you know, Reese, we're set. Wide receiver, I like what we're doing here. No need to really change anything with that. Tight end, Reese has been doing good there. We have Stevenson as a backup. Again, offensive line, we're pretty solid. Left end, this is where, you know, oh yeah, I was like, what happened? And I realized that, where's he at? He's not even going to appear. Yeah, that's just because Shelby Harris is hurt. That's the only reason he's not there right now. But Shelby Harris, I like a lot. Femi Francois has been killing it in the backup role. Then we have Justin Tuck, who might retire. And Justin Smith, who will likely retire. Justin Tuck we might have for another season. But Justin Smith is likely gone. So defensive tackle is going to be important. Obviously, we're set at left linebacker. We're set at middle linebacker, you know. Right linebacker. Again, C.O. Moore having a little bit of a quiet year. He's not having a bad year by any means, but we could potentially look into using him as trade bait. I don't know. Jimmy Smith, we might be ready to move on from. Amuka Maris killing it for us. I like that. LeJean Knight's really coming into his own. He's getting a lot of sacks for a corner. It's pretty crazy. In those corner blitzes, he's doing a great job. But I like Keith McGill. I like DJ Moore, so I'm pretty comfortable there. We even have Hayden over here. But we could always move Mosley up into that position. And again, find a strong safety. That's the other option. So, you know, we don't have a whole lot of needs. I kind of like where we're sitting. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Just get some scouting done, stuff like that. And I will see you in week number 10 as we take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Later.